Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. When I woke up this morning, the world was all amazed. I was out of sorts, my mind was in a daze. I couldn't see straight, blinded in a fog. All it took was a little time with God. God knows everything about it. God knows what it is you need. God knows the way in and the way out and the way all around it. I don't care whatever it is. Take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. It doesn't seem easy when you're going through a down phase. When you're tossing and turning, you can't see the light of day. Oh, God is consistent, always in the same. Just dwell on the Spirit and make your little claim that God is closer to you than hands and feet, that God will lift you from despair and defeat. God understands, God is real, and God is love. Meditate on the Spirit. Take a little time with God. God knows everything about it. God knows what it is you need. God knows the way in and the way out and the way all around it. I don't care whatever it is. Take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. God will open any and every door. Oh, whatever you do, take a little time with God. God is now, now and forevermore. So whatever you do, take a little time with God. God will make a way out of no way. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. When your world is crumbling and you've lost all your faith, whoa, whatever you do, take a little time with God. God knows everything about it. God knows what it is you need. God knows the way in and the way out and the way all around it. I don't care whatever it is. Take a little time with God. Am I up?
You're up. You're on.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unity Center of Divine Love and Light. It is really a pleasure to see all of us here. I would really love being here. This is my getaway from the craziness of life. So thank you for being here, and to those people that are watching us on our live stream today, we welcome you in the loving spirit of the Christ. So let's take a moment right now. I want to acknowledge some people that make the service possible. First of all, thank you, Sandra Marlowe, our wonderful music director, and Bobby Kuhn, our beautiful vocalist. The two of these two make awesome music together. Their harmonies are heavenly. So thank you, too, for being here. We appreciate you. And then let's acknowledge our media team. Shane Stevenson back there running our multimedia for us today. And Wayne Denman, he's kind of the newest recruit that we shanghaied. Shane, bless his heart, is starting a new career in IT support, and so he is going to be not available on Sundays for a little while, so Wayne has very graciously stepped in and is helping us, and it's going to work out. So it's amazing how things happen. It shouldn't be amazing. We're all unity people. We know that. When there's a void, the universe fills it. And there was a void, and the universe filled it. So thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Shane. I see we got some wonderful people coming in to be with us. Thank you for being here. So let's just take a moment and let's just close our eyes in prayer. Dear sweet, loving Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we are grateful for your presence in our life. We are here to do what needs to be done through your divine guidance. And we love and embrace our brethren across the universe, all different faiths, all different walks. There are many paths to God, but we all know that there is one God. So we bless all people meeting this day or any day. And we celebrate life. We are grateful. We are grateful for all the blessings in our lives. So with that, we just simply say, thank you, God, and amen.
Praise to the oneness, creating all life. Praise to the oneness, sustaining our life. Praise to the Spirit, the dance of our life. Praise to the Spirit, connecting all life. Praise to the oneness, creating all life. Praise to the oneness, sustaining our life. Praise to the Spirit, the dance of our life. Praise to the Spirit, connecting all life. Connecting all life.
So I invite all of you that are here in the sanctuary and those that are with us from home to get yourself into a comfortable position. And I invite you to breathe in life and then exhale the stress and any concerns of the day, so we don't need to worry about them right now. I want to share the daily word for today as part of the meditation. It seems appropriate. Inner peace. The peace of God fills my mind, my heart, and my life. So take another deep breath and release it. And contemplate these words. Quiet moments in a fragrant garden, a stroll by a lake or stream, or a visit to any place of beauty inspires a deep awareness of peace. And just think on those words for a moment. All we have to do is look outside the windows of this beautiful dome. Our beautiful church home, centered on 10 acres of beauty and nature, with the deer and the wild turkeys and raccoons and other beloved creatures. The Peace Garden just outside our front door. What a beautiful and tranquil spot. I also enjoy peace in the company of friends with whom I have easy camaraderie and deep bonds. Feel the presence of those beings in this space right now. Feel the love that we feel for one another. The joy when we see each other on Sunday mornings. Growing in spiritual wellness, I claim inner peace wherever I am. True inner peace comes from deep within me. If I am feeling less than peaceful, I pause and breathe out worry, fear, and unhealthy concern. Giving my full attention to the divine presence within me, I breathe in a peace that soothes my emotions, calms my thoughts, and relaxes my body. Imagine being at the seashore. As you approach the shoreline, you see and hear the waves rolling in. And some people might think of the noise as being loud and obtrusive. But as I watch the waves roll in, I feel peace. I observe people walking up and down the beach, some holding hands, and others just staring at the beauty of the water. And I feel a sense of peace and well-being wash over me. And I observe small children playing in the surf, and I hear the happy sounds that they make as they laugh. And they build sandcastles where they bend down to pick up seashells. All these things bring a sense of deep peace and well-being. I feel renewed. And I realize that any concerns I may have had, they're gone. they don't exist. So I breathe in deeply. I inhale life and beauty of the earth and the sights and sounds that are part of that beauty. And I exhale and let go of any stresses or any concerns that I may have. So take a moment in the silence. Find your place of beauty. And go there in your mind. And then breathe in the beauty and the joy and the life and the love and all the goodness. And exhale the stress, the worry, any concerns that you may have for just a few moments in the silence. And now, as we prepare to come back to this place, in your mind's eye, take one last look at that place of beauty. Whether it be the wonderful grounds here around our center, that lake or stream that you like to go to, or that beautiful ocean beach. Remember to breathe in life and exhale concern. As we continue to inhale peace and exhale concern, we move forward with renewed clarity and confidence. The peace of God fills my mind, my heart, and my life. The peace of God fills my mind, my heart, and my life. Would you share that with me, please? The peace of God fills my mind, my heart, and my life. And we know that anytime we feel the need, we can close our eyes and we can go to that sacred place and we can create the peace. Thank you, God. And so it is.
I am strengthened by God's own hand. I am a child, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Nothing can shake my confidence. I am a child of God. No one can take my inheritance. Never alone I'll stand, strengthened by God's own hand. I am a child, I am a child of God, a child of God, a child of God.
Thank you, ladies. I love the harmony. That's incredible. Let me correct a faux pas. Let me acknowledge also the presence of our beloved guest speaker today, Reverend David McClure. David has graciously stepped in to assist us through our time of transition, and it's been a real honor having you here, and I look forward to many, many more Sundays of having you here helping us out. We love you, David. David's talk today is Small Signs, Ginormous Implications. I'm really interested to see what that's all about. And so now this is the time in our service where we declare our church decree together. And it's a little bit different than what it's been in the past. So I don't know if you guys can read that. Let us say it together with conviction. Together. Beloved Mother, Father, God, we open our hearts to be filled with divine love and our minds to be filled with divine light. Divine love and divine light now move through our center, guiding and protecting us, our families, friends, and neighbors. Divine love and divine light now draw to us people, situations, and activities that bless and are in harmony with truth and love. Together, we are touching hearts and transforming lives. Actually, this is the one that we were supposed to do. Let's do it again. Let's make sure we get it right this time. And I'll just say right up front or whatever that this one includes what we believe to be the truth about our search for our next spiritual leader. So together, beloved Mother, Father, God, we open our hearts to be filled with divine love and our minds to be filled with divine light. Divine love and divine light now move through our center, guiding and protecting us, our families, friends, and neighbors. Divine love and divine light now draw to us people, situations, and opportunities that are in harmony with truth and love. Together, we are touching hearts and transforming lives. Okay, so I see a problem here. It's the same slide, same words. I apologize. I am going to read our new church decree. So I invite you to just listen to it from the heart. Obviously, many of these words are similar, but let us share this together. Or I'll share it with you, I should say. Beloved Mother, Father, God, we open our hearts to be filled with divine love and our minds to be filled with divine light. Divine love and divine light now move through our center, guiding and protecting us, our families, friends, and neighbors. Divine love and divine light now draw to us the perfect leader to guide this ministry into the future. We look forward with anticipation to welcoming new people, situations, opportunities, and activities that are in harmony with truth and love. Together we are touching hearts and transforming lives. Amen. I apologize for the confusion. We will have that corrected. Now let us take a moment to share our decree for all people. There we go. So let us just gaze upon our world leaders and acknowledge the truth. The light and love of God compels us, our leaders, and all human beings to do the right thing and to love and care for Mother Earth. Now I would like all of you to take a moment to just stand, those of you here in the sanctuary with us and those at home. Just take a moment to just acknowledge the Christ in each other. Bless you. Thank you.
The message is what we get from the messenger. The answer is what we receive from the answerer. The question is what is asked from the questioners, you and me. The solution is God within. A messenger has sent to us everything we need, an answer that what dwells in us on our path will lead to simple solutions, relief and resolutions, questions answered perfectly when we listen carefully to God within. The message is what we get from the messenger. The answer is what we receive from the answerer. The question is what is asked from the questioners, you and me. The solution is God within. There's no need to search all over. The kingdom is at hand, speaking to you from your heart. It's easy to understand. Quiet the chatter in your mind. Leave your worries way behind. Peaceful answers you will find, listening to God within. The message is what we get from the messenger. The answer is what we receive from the answerer. The question is what is asked from the questioners, you and me. The solution is God within. The solution is God within. The solution is God within. God within. God within. Solution is God within.
Thank you, Sandra and Bobby. You were our messengers here this morning, channeling Michael Robinson, who wrote that incredible piece. Good morning, beings of love and light. Great to be with you again. I offer blessings too from my wife, who's working this morning as one of the first responders at Sacred Heart Hospital. She sends her love and blessings to each one of you, and hold her in the light too as she continues her ministry there. Small sign, ginormous implications. Two men were sitting next to each other at a bar, and after a while, one guy looks at the other and says, "I can't help but think from listening to you that you're from Ireland." And the guy responds and says, "Yes, that I am." And the first guy says, "So am I, and whereabouts from Ireland might you be?" And the other guy says, "I'm from Dublin, I am." And the first guy says, "Sure and begorra, so am I. What street did you live on in Dublin?" And the other guy says, "A lovely little area. I lived in McClure Street in the old central part of town." And the first guy says, "Faith, and it's a small world. So did I." "And to what school would you have been going?" And the other guy says, "Well, now, I went to St. Mary's, of course." And the first guy gets really excited and says, "So tell me, what year did you graduate?" And the other guy says, "Well, now, I graduated in 1964. And the first guy exclaims, "The good Lord must be smiling down upon us today. I can hardly believe your good luck at winding up in the same bar with me tonight. Can you believe it? I graduated from St. Mary's in 1964 myself." About that time, another guy comes in and sits at the bar, orders a beer, and the bartender walks over to him, shaking his head and muttering, and says, "Going to be a long night. The Murphy twins are drunk again." Well, the good news is for you today is you don't have to get drunk to experience coincidences in your life. Every time there is a coincidence in your life, you know it, you feel it, you experience it, and we've all had them all through our lives. You think of someone's name and pretty soon the phone rings, and it's that person you were thinking of. You see a number, and all of a sudden you see that number all over the place, over and over again. You see a sign, and it reminds you of what you were trying to bring home for dinner tonight, and you'd forgotten that. I'm guilty of that one a lot. How many people tend to just explain away these coincidences and all these accidental happenings as accidental happenings? That's what they think of them as, that occur randomly throughout our lives. But others, and I think some of you among us know that something remarkable is actually going on when these things happen. Deepak Chopra has done extensive studies into coincidences, and he calls them synchronicities. He even goes as far as to saying that the universe is constantly leaving breadcrumbs for you, dropping hints, flashing signs, tapping on your shoulder, showing you where your life is headed and where you can find the true self of you among all the maze of happenings that are going on throughout the world. The universe is always, always talking to you. But the real question is, are you listening? Are you listening to what the universe has to say? It's constantly trying to tell you something, but sometimes we just don't understand the message. We don't get it. We don't understand what part this plays in our lives. We find ourselves seeking answers to questions in life, but sometimes we just don't know which way to go. We don't know the solution to the problem that we're having. You might feel this way, of course, because you aren't fully aware of the language that the universe uses when it's trying to communicate with you. The universe puts its communications, its answers right square in front of you. But the language barrier with the universe that we all have is a major hindrance for many of us. And what we're learning as students of spiritual truth and students of the universe is to learn the lingo, to learn the signs, to learn where to look and how to look and what to listen to. Because the universe is going to keep on keeping on speaking to you in its lingo, in its way. We don't always recognize the messages or the realizations because the universe speaks through, are you ready for this? Our everyday experience. Not some big mystical thing in the sky, but in our everyday experience. In the Vedic tradition, a lot of attention is placed on the importance of becoming more aware of our everyday experiences as something other than everyday experiences, something even more important than this. We human beings are a continuing consciousness event, and that means that we exist for the purpose and the function of understanding and learning from our everyday experiences. So what medium could possibly be more effective for communication than life itself, the life that we are living? I saw a video the other day called shoulder taps. You ever had someone tap you on the shoulder? I don't know during COVID-19 whether that's, I guess that's still permissible if you tap somebody on the shoulder. But this man was talking about shoulder taps in a wholly different way. He and his wife were having lunch at a restaurant some months ago before the COVID thing hit. And the man notices across the aisle an elderly woman sits down at a large table all by herself. And then 5 minutes later, she is joined by what appears to be her daughter and possibly 2 or 3 grandchildren. The man who is recounting this story says that about that time, a voice in his head speaks to him loud and clear and says, "You need to go and tell that lady how beautiful she is." And he thinks, well, okay. So after he and his wife are finished with their food, they get the check and they're ready to leave, and the wife precedes him out. He doesn't say anything to his wife about this, but he holds back and he goes across to the woman who's sitting at the table and leans down to her and says, "Excuse me, just in case no one has told you today, I just want you to know how lovely you are." And she looks at the man with a look he has never seen before. And she says, "I know you." And he says, "No, I'm pretty sure we've never met before." And she says, "I know your spirit. Your husband died, my husband died a year ago, and that's something that he would have said to me." At that moment, the man was speechless. He couldn't talk. He was overcome with emotion, and he reached out and gave her a hug and smiled at her through his tears, and then he leaves. And later on, he is heard to say, "I now have to believe that the universe tapped me on the shoulder and put me in that situation in just at the right moment. And each and every person is blessed by such an encounter as this." It's really very important that we watch and listen for these shoulder taps and these other kinds of signs and wonders that come to us. And the more we watch and listen for them, the more in alignment we are with the universe and come to know that the universe is in alignment with us and has our best interests at heart. Our brains are pretty cool operating machines, but their main function is to reduce information to the simplest form. It takes in a whole lot of, a flood of information that comes in and filters it down to just a trickle. And it's just enough to get by on, and it is okay to function through the day, but it tends to filter out and screen out most of life's wonderment and most of the most powerful implications that our lives can experience. That's why, as part of my mission over the years, has been to try to point out miracles and signs and synchronicities and shoulder taps to people, because our rational mind screens those out. There was a song a few years ago called I Saw the Sign. Remember that song by Ace to Base? I saw the sign. And I opened up my mind. And that's what the signs are designed to do, to open your mind. One of my favorite authors right now is Pam Grout, who is the author of a book called The Course in Miracles Experiment. And she writes that in June 2018, while driving the winding roads to her dad's memorial in the Great Smoky Mountains, she nearly flattened a turtle, but she managed to swerve the car just in time and miss the turtle. But she writes that in that moment, she was reminded of how often her dad took her out on one of those, oh, look at that drives. Did your parents take you out on drives that look at that and look at that and you want to see this? My parents did that all the time. And Pam says that frequently they spotted horned toads and what are called box turtles. And 70% of the time they stopped, packed them up, and brought them home as pets in their household. And she said, I had a favorite box turtle called Pokey. And she entered Pokey 3 times in a row on Saturday night at the turtle races in Ellsworth, Kansas. The races were held in the IGA store parking lot. She won all 3 of those races, 3 weeks in a row. But after she retired Pokey from the races, the officials deemed that Pokey was being unfair to the other turtles, and time for her to retire. But 30 years later, here she is on this road in the Smoky Mountains on her way to her dad's memorial, and there, smack dab in the middle of the road, just like she remembered, was a box turtle. Now, most people would shrug and say, well, it's a coincidence. But you and I know different than that, don't we? We know there are no accidents in the universe. Let me say that again. There are no accidents in the universe. Even if we call these kinds of happenings coincidences, it's interesting, this word coincidence, coincident. It means that the universe is in cahoots with us. It means that it is happening in cooperation with the divine plan for our lives. I brought a little something this morning as my object lesson for today. What is this? A boomerang, right. Back in 1964, I boarded a freighter on Vancouver Island that was bound for Sydney, Australia. It's going to take 7.5 weeks to cross the Pacific Ocean. get to Australia. And I was going there to start the first Unity ministry in Australia. Not only the first ministry in Australia, but the first Unity ministry in the Southern Hemisphere. In fact, when we got there, we called it Unity Under the Southern Cross. That was the title. But before I left, my parents gave me this boomerang. And they said, this is a good luck charm for you that you can take to Australia with you so that we know that you'll come back and see us sometime. So I had this on the ship, on the freighter, and one day some of my fellow passengers, weren't many passengers on the ship, they said, you've been talking, you had a boomerang, can you show it to us? So I brought it up on deck, and they admired it and liked it a lot. And then one of the crew, who happened to be an Australian, says to me, how good are you at tossing that thing, mate? And I said, well, I've never actually thrown it. And he said, well, why don't you give it a go? And I said, oh, no, I don't want to lose it. He said, the Aussies have a tradition that if you throw your boomerang and it comes back to you, it means you are a dinky-die Aussie. Dinky-die means true blue. And if it doesn't come back, well, then you may have your problems when you get to Australia. So give it a go. And they all cheered me on. So finally, there was enough room on the deck, so I tossed this thing, and it came around and landed right at my feet. And I was blown away, and so was everybody else. And then the member of the crew said, okay, now what I want you to do is turn towards the starboard side of the ship, and I want you to throw it out into the ocean and see what happens. So I took a deep breath and threw this thing out on the ocean, and it went out quite a ways, and it came back, and it landed at my feet again. And I did this 2 more times. And he said, you are a dinky-die Aussie. You have proven that all things are working together for good for you in this experience and in this life. This is what coincidence does. It implies a higher level of intelligence that organizes the events of our life so that meanings and purposes pop up unexpectedly. Moreover, a synchronous experience defies the laws of gravity and the laws of cause and effect. You remember in the story of Don Quixote, man of La Mancha, he keeps calling this barmaid, whose name is Aldonza, he calls her my lady, and he just goes up there and says, my lady, and she doesn't get that. In fact, she gets angry at him. And but at the end of Don Quixote's life, she comes in dressed like my lady, Dulcinea, the princess. And Don Quixote says to his trusty companion Sancho, facts, my dear Sancho, only blind you from the truth. Facts can blind you from the truth unless you can see through them, unless you can see beyond them, unless you can see the signs that are presented. If you think of a word and the next moment someone on the television says that word, you didn't create that coincidence, but something did. And I suggest to you that on your spiritual journey, you should attempt to investigate what this something really is. The sign you see, the coincidence that occurs may be subtle, and it may not be big. It hits you with the full force of a symphony orchestra playing in the background when it happens. But when it hits, it has the potential to bring about ginormous implications in your life. You know, I didn't know that ginormous was a word in the dictionary, but it is. It is a word, and it means humongous, which is also a word in the dictionary. Such as when we're growing up, we lived in a ginormous house with a swimming pool and a pool table in the house. Implications from these signs and wonders that are always occurring in our life can be ginormous. They can change the whole course of your life or the life of someone around you. If we only look at the facts of our life, we may miss these implications. We may miss this sense of direction. When we see beyond our seeing and look beyond our looking and see and hear beyond our hearing, because sometimes it's a hearing issue as well, we can see the signs, some of which may be imperceptible, but the implications can be ginormous. Think about this, for example. Here's one sign that's mentioned in the Bible. Shepherds are out minding their flocks or darning their socks or whatever they were doing on Christmas Eve. And here comes a flock of angels, and the chorus of angels says to them, "And this will be a sign to you. You will find a child wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." How low can you go except a child in swaddling clothes, in a manger, in a stable? Pretty insignificant event, yet think of the ginormous implications of that sign and how it's changed the world and changed our lives. Now, according to the biblical history, a dove was released by Noah when he was on the ark after the flood, and the dove came back carrying an olive branch freshly plucked in its beak. And that was a sign to Noah and that there was dry land out there somewhere, and the animals were going to survive and life was going to go on. A small sign again, a dove with an olive branch, yet ginormous implications. In Christianity, the first books of the book of John in the New Testament are considered the book of signs. And they name out specifically 7 notable signs which are called miracles or wonders that Jesus demonstrated why he was there. John says at one point, "Therefore many other signs Jesus also performed in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these have been written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ." And then there are 7 of these particular happenings that get our attention about why Jesus is so important and powerful in our lives. There's a changing of water into wine. Remember, Jesus said, "I will make no wine before it's time." And he made it in that first wedding. Healing of the royal official's son at Capernaum. Healing of the paralytic at Bethesda. Feeding the 5,000. How about that one? Walking on water. Give that one a try. Healing the blind man who was blind from birth. And the raising of Lazarus from the dead. Now, those are pretty flashy, don't you think? Those get our attention. Those bring us to the point of saying, well, maybe this guy's got something, and we better listen. We better pay attention to all the other stuff that he's going to teach us. I'd like to give you some tips on how you can decode your signs and the symbols and the implications in your life and understand that an awesome spiritual experience is now occurring in your life. We're not waiting till the COVID-19 is over. We're not waiting till we have a new government or whatever is going to come about. Follow these signs and read what is there for you right now. Step number 1, cultivate a desire to hear and receive these signs from the universe. Say, I really want to know. I'm really open to this. And I desire to know. Be willing to accept the answers that come, no matter how or through whom they may come. Sometimes they can come through the most unlikely people or sources. You may receive an answer from a stranger, an unlikely stranger, a random occurrence, even a billboard, even a penny that you find on the ground and you pick up that says, "In God we trust." The possibilities here are endless, but you must truly seek them. You must really want to see them for them to be revealed to you. So that's the first thing. I want to do this. The second thing is pay attention. Pay attention to these signs. The universe doesn't have any limits on how it will speak to you. For example, if a person shows up at your workplace wearing a t-shirt that has a particular phrase on it, maybe you'll notice that this has implications in the way you look at your life, the people that you meet, the jobs that you have, the conversations that are going on for you. All of this ties together as part of this unfolding plan. The intelligence of the universe is boundless, and it always connects you to strengthening a connection with the divine and with your destiny, your true destiny. You may not always realize this, particularly if you're in the midst of a struggle, but pay attention because things are there for you to see. The more attention you bring to it, the more energy and answers that you will get. Watch your environment. Watch what's going on all around you and realize that these signs are there for you to be. I was reading a post on Facebook this morning. In fact, I posted it, so I know I read it. And it said, if you want your life to be more peaceful, Byron read us a daily word about peaceful. He said, this says, there are two things that you could do today to be more peaceful. Number one, don't read or watch any news. And the second thing is, don't go near your bathroom scale. If you want more, see, there's a couple of signs for you right there. You won't be surprised at how many things you can do. Third recommendation is take notes. Take notes. Make note of recurring experiences in your life, experiences that you've had over and over, and you thought, well, this is just an accident. This is just a coincidence. Coincidence, for sure. You begin to pay more attention to the occurrences in your life. Write them down. Write down the themes, the things that seem to put them all together. These things pop up for a reason in your life, and you will know what that reason is. Beyond calling these synchronicities, Deepak goes even farther. He calls them synchrodestinies. He says that your destiny is known by the universe. It knows who you are, why you're here, and what you're about to do. And if you will listen, your destiny is tied up in all these signs and wonders. The Bible calls them signs and wonders. You see a sign, and then you wonder, I wonder what this means. I wonder how this fits in to my life and to my experience. So these are the kinds of situations. The universe is not subtle. It's going to get through to you sooner or later. But wouldn't you rather it be sooner rather than later? Sometimes these messages are sent over and over again repeatedly until we get them. So pay attention. Step number 4, learn to surrender. Once you get a message and it's something that you're thinking about and wondering what it means, sometimes we try to bend that message to our own personal desires. And I suggest to you that you don't do that. You let the message speak to you, even if it's not in tune with your desires. Surrender your desires and your personal investment in the answer. Just allow it to come and be. If you truly want the experience, if you truly want the real experience, let it happen. And then finally, step number 5, receive that message fully, totally, and utterly. These signs come always on a need-to-know basis. And when you need to know, you will. There will be no confusion, no doubt for what is being given to you and what is being said. Seek out this kind of relationship with the universe, and it will most certainly support you for the rest of your life and beyond. These are the things that the signs and wonders of life are prepared to offer to you. Are you ready to take a leap in faith and give this a try? You know, a little child came to school one day, 6-year-old, and said, I've learned how to spell my mummy's name. My mummy told me how to spell my name. God bless you. And it was M-U-M. And the little child thought she was really smart, and then the little kid next to her says, well, that's my mummy's name too. She told me how to spell M-U-M. So there are synchronicities everywhere, and they're happening for you today. They may be small signs, but they have ginormous implications. God bless you.
Thank you, David. That was awesome. Kind of made me think. Every morning when I get ready to leave for work, I bend over the bed to kiss my lovely bride and, wish her a good day or whatever. And I keep tripping over, and I find myself kicking the scale further under the bed so I don't bump into it. So maybe there's a message there. I don't know. Oh, thank you. Okay, well, so this is a time in our service where we get to practice the act of giving. We're good at giving around here. We're doing things a little different right now because of the unique situation that we find ourselves in. So rather than passing the baskets and collecting our love offerings that way, if you choose to give today, we do have a box marked love offering by the entrance door over here. The other options that are available to you, and just make sure I get this right, is you can donate online. If you choose to do that option, the website is www.theunitycenter.org. Click on the donate button, and I've heard from people that have done it that it's secure and it works great. And then if you prefer to mail your tithes to the check, please do it to our P.O. Box as opposed to the physical address. The P.O. Box is P.O. Box 28127, Spokane, Washington, 99228. So with that, I would just ask you to think lovingly on the gift that you plan to give. Hold it in your mind. Hold it in your heart. Thank it for coming into your life. And then release it with great excitement and enthusiasm, knowing that somewhere out there miracles are happening with the gift that you've given. So with that in mind, join me together in our love offering statement. Together? Divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life upon and listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life upon and listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life upon and listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life upon and listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for the new life upon and listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way.
Thank you, ladies. That was incredible. Oh, the music, I'm really loving the music today.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Just know that your gifts have been given in love, received in love, and they are moving forward, creating miracles in our world. Thank you. I don't really have any specific announcements other than David will be with us again next week, and his talk title is, I wish I was going to be here for this one, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Now, if that doesn't grab your attention, make you want to come here and be here to hear that message, I don't know what will. So plan on being here, okay?
Will there be bacon?
What's that?
Will there be bacon?
That could be arranged.
You know, it's interesting that you're talking about bacon. I mean, you know, we do have a little bacon once in a while in the house, but we're going on a family camp out next weekend. So we have purchased, and this is just for the breakfast on the first Saturday, the Saturday, 2 pounds of bacon. One for our grandson Landon, the rest for the rest of the family. So anyway, I'm just saying, yeah. I really don't have any other announcements, but I would like to keep everybody informed in that the board has been meeting, and I actually have a copy of, not quite finished yet, but very close to being completed, information packet that we will be sending off to Unity Worldwide Ministries. So Wendy Denman, our board president, assures me that she is going to work with the board. You know, they're having a meeting on Wednesday afternoon, evening, and she's going to lock the doors, and they're not allowed to leave the building until the financials and all the information that's yet to be done is completed. So board members that are here, you've been warned. We are very excited. I'm reading through the documents, and, you know, I'm born and raised in Spokane. I lived here all of my life but about 3 years. And it's easy to sometimes forget what we have to offer in this area as far as activities, the beauty of nature. This community that we live in is truly, I think, a gem. I think it's one of the true gems in the world. So I'm reading the documentation. I am excited. We are moving forward in this process, ladies and gentlemen. So at some point in the future, according to divine order, we will have our new spiritual leaders, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I just envision this place just with love and activities and growth and all the things that we're looking forward to. So With that in mind, let us sing together our peace song, and then we'll say the prayer for protection and be on our way.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And join me now in our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Love you all. Have a blessed week.
Throw a little love around. Watch what happens wherever you go. Throw a little love around. You see changes fast and slow. Throw a little love around. Happiness will follow you. You'll see happy folks and free. Love will grow in you and me. Joy, fun, and peace abound. Just throw a little love around. Hey there you, I'm talking to you. Where do you think you're going? Why, it's love I'm speaking of. And yes, it should be flowing. We got time to share this rhyme. Start your singing now. You don't know how this should go. Well, let me show you how. Throw a little love around. Watch what happens wherever you go. Throw a little love around. You'll see changes fast and slow. Throw a little love around. Happiness will follow you. You'll see happy folks and free. Love will grow in you and me. Joy, fun, and peace abound. Just throw a little love around. Oh, well, it's up to you. It's up to me to set this love and spirit free. Let's take this opportunity to give it all away. The more you give, the more you got. Give this loving thing a shot. You won't run out, I kid you not. I swear by what I say. No, oh, throw a little love around. Watch what happens wherever you go. Throw a little love around. You'll see changes fast and slow. Throw a little love around. Happiness will follow you. You'll see happy folks and free. Love will grow in you and me. folks say